This is it, guys, the all-new Casio G-Shock GA-900 series, specifically 900E-1A3 JR, which I believe the one and only best options by far. If you're thinking of getting one already, I highly recommend you to pick up this exact colorway, this exact series, just because it came with this extra watch band that could also glows in the dark. Glow in the dark G-Shock watch band is good and all, but do you know what's better? Having a sponsor for today's video, Buy.jp, a proxy shopping service website based in Japan in which I used to buy this G-Shock watch from. If you happen to be in the same situation as I am, where this model haven't been released locally, or it is taking too long, or even if it's too expensive, why not give it a shot? Buy them from Japan instead. You might get lucky and be able to save a lot more, especially if you use the link down in the description box right now. You also earn 1000 discount, plus they have been doing a lot of campaign right now with 10%, 5% off. So if you buy your G-Shock watch right now, you will be able to save a lot more, especially if you're thinking of getting one of these, which is quite expensive. Originally it will cost around 200 bucks or 20,000 Japanese yen roughly. I picked mine up around 140 US dollars only, so think about it. Now let me put all this aside and highlight to you guys other things that make this specific G-Shock is also better than most G-Shock at this price point. That is because of the form factor. This is something that I guess the best thing about Casio G-Shock in general, because each time that they release a new models, they always came up with different new design. And that's what makes them great, and this has been going on for over 35 years, and this is just crazy when you think about it. Every G-Shock looks different, and that's what makes them unique. And in this specific case, the GA-900 series is a combination between a lot of popular G-Shock form factor and combine them all into one. For example, this round shape profile at the front of this specific one, this reminds me of a DW6900 series with this flat side, curved side on top. If you look on the side, it has some sort of shape. This is 10 sides if you count them, so it is a decagon, but I have a feeling it is a reminiscence to the popular GA-2100, the Casio Oak, which have 8 sides or an octagon. So this is a decagon, something like that. Next is for the screws that is locking all the parts basically. So this does reminds me of the Modmaster, or most G-Shock actually, that has screws locked on each corner, especially with this holder over here on top. Next you have this button guard that is protruding outwards, and this does reminds me of the weird Casio G-Shock DW9052, which is getting quite popular today. So there's that. The button texture on this specific model is, well, checkered, round in shape, and that does reminds me of the Casio G-Shock GA-700 series, quite popular entry-level street style fashion accessory watch that Casio have been promoting quite heavily a few years back. And I also have to point out, even the function, the module that moved this G-Shock watch is operating on the same, well, not really the same, but very similarly to a Casio G-Shock GA-700 series. So if you ever have any experience of operating that big bulky watch, this is the same thing, except it is more compact in size. That is for the functions. And since we were talking about watch face, let's move in there a little bit. Notice the placement of all the digital display. That reminds me of a GD350 mixed with GD400 series G-Shock watch, which is also a really popular design. And speaking of 400 series, even the watch band, this one over here, Resin Band, the one that most of you guys will end up getting if you pick up other color variants, have somewhat similar texture, though it does reminds me more of a popular Modmaster triple sensor G-Shock watch instead. Anyway, that's just for the watch band, the body, the watch face, the buttons, the functions, the texture, the shape, and everything. The overall structure for this body, by looking at how the screws were placed and also how it connects all the parts, this ultimately reminds me of a MTG, the premium MTG 1000 series, except instead of using metal, they are using resin here. And I haven't even get to the fact that it also came with a special lever attached watch band, so changing the strap is a lot easier than ever in comparison to other G-Shock watch at this price point. So that is really cool, except the digital display in there aren't the best. Instead of using the popular, I guess, the favorite MIP LCD. They are just using the standard TN display, LCD display, so it is not as good, especially if you pick up one in negative display. This exact colorway though came in both. Well, both of these have negative display, but this one came in green while this one came in red. Notice the difference. This is very hard to see, where this one pretty okay. Also, I have to point out, even though it looks green, it is actually metallic mixed with green colorway, and that is also incredibly cool. Also notice the indices around there. All of those 3D index, they came in gray colorway, which reminds me the color of a concrete for this exact version only, since the whole piece, if you look at it, it looks like a vest worn by a constructions worker, and all of the color combination in this specific color series really reminds me of a constructions theme, constructions inspired in its design, and that representing something tough. So when you think about it, there are so many thought process that goes into the design of this specific G-Shock watch in particular, meaning they are focusing more on design, less on functions, which usually translate to the reason why they make this is for fashion wear only. And I guess that also explains the price point as well, and the fact that you could change the band to match with your outfit. So if you're looking for functions, something new, something revolutionary, this is probably not for you. So if you're into something fresh, new accessory to wear with your outfits as fashion wear, this might be it if you like how it looks. So this is not for everyone, I guess, but I'm sure they are focusing for the youth culture, for the youngsters. So if you are older, you're probably not gonna like it. Me personally, I like the look of it, especially when I pair this with this special rugged jeans like fabric band with layer underneath this, so it is much more comfortable than using this resin one over here. So there's that. As I already mentioned, it worked like a GA-700, but still, let me demonstrate that. You have a mode indicator over here, timer, world time, alarm, stopwatch, that's it. Graphics over here for timer, stopwatch, and such. Right now at tone time, it is telling me date and time in analog format. I could change that to seconds and digital time display, or I could press it just once to see the city of which this time is representing. Or press this mode button once, we'll enter the countdown timer mode, ranging to only 60 minutes only, start stop with 1/10 precisions and a graphic on top. Next you have world time functions, so you could just scroll through all of this, pretty standard over here, no time swapping. Next you have 5 alarm with snooze and signals, pretty standard as well, and there's an indicator down here. Last mode is a stopwatch with target time function. You could start, stop, set the target time, split function, and such. Now, since it worked like a GA-700, it also have a quick access to stopwatch function with this button. Just press it once, it will start this function right away. So if you're one of those guys who heavily rely on stopwatch, split time, target time, this might be a right G-Shock watch for you, considering that it is brand new, it is cool looking, it is made to look incredibly rugged. Give it a chance if you find it at a low cost. I mean, the price is gonna be pretty cheap, except for this one because it is special, it might be a bit expensive. So if you're low on the budget, pick other color variants, there are already a bunch of them, even though it is still incredibly new. So that's for a standard operation. For LED backlight, that is the downside for this G-Shock watch. It only have one for the analog portions, no luminous hands or indices at all, so it is very much not practical to be used at the dark in nighttime. Not that it is totally impractical, but if you have a good eyesight, you could still see it. I still could see it as far as the analog portions, and since the digital display is placed down here, I could somewhat still read the informations, but if you pick up one in negative display, yeah, you won't be having a good time wearing this G-Shock watch. So pick your GA-900 series wisely, though I would highly recommend you to pick up this exact color with this special box, extra watch band instead, just to the fact that you're also getting this, again, new glow in the dark watch band.